Morning, Emma Gorgeous here again. Today we are going to look at mattress stitching two different types of pattern together. So often when you're shown it's stocking stitch, both going in the same direction. We're going to show you stitches going in the opposite directions and in joining two patterns together. So here we've joined the offset tiles in the green, in the saxifrage off-white, and over here we've got it's called a basket weave pattern, but essentially it's knit and purl. So we have to join those accurately together. Let's get going and have a look. Okay, so specifically this is for a cushion that we made, but the instructions are relevant for all pieces of work where you've got two different patterns to join together. In this case, we have a fold over at the top. So you're going to, if you are making this, you'll end up with seamed all the way to the top and then a fold over. So as you can see, we've joined it, I think, fairly perfectly. An example is here where you have got matching stitches. You actually wouldn't be able to see where we've done the join. And so we're going to look down this side. So we started this pattern with the offset tiles. So the stitches are going upwards. They're going upwards. I'm actually going to bring it in a bit so because you need to see the stitches. So this is a very obvious upward stitch because it's the slipped stitch, but here's an upward stitch. What we are going to do is join the seam at the edge between the outermost stitch, which is there, and the second stitch. And with mattress stitching, you're always taking the bars between the stitches. Now that is very easy when it's just stocking stitch. And in fact, we've got the slipped stitch here, which is right at the end, which makes it even easier to see those bars underneath. So we're going to be putting our needle between the horizontal bars, between the upward facing V's on this side. And then we carry on here. These are obviously also going upwards, but when we fold the cushion or whatever the piece of work, when we fold the cushion over, these are now facing down, which is no big deal. You just need to remember that when you're looking for the edge stitch, which is here, which is right here, when you're looking for that edge stitch, of course it's going to be facing downwards when you're knitting, which is, once you're in the process, is no big deal. So I'm going to turn it around and we're going to start at the bottom where we fold over because we need this to be exact, and then following up to the top. So I am using a different coloured yarn as is traditional when we're demonstrating mattress stitch. This particular cushion is made in a chunky yarn. You can seam it with the same chunky yarn, or obviously you do it in this off-white colour. Here you can see it's been seamed with an off-white colour. I'm doing it with pink just so that you can see my stitches. It's quite a good idea to not use chunky yarn when you're doing the seams, but at the same time, just because it makes them a bit thinner. But with actually homeware, I don't think it matters. Certainly with a jumper, I'd use a 4-ply yarn to join them together. So let's start, put our yarn on the inside and bring it through, put our yarn on the inside and bring it through to the very base, which is here, because the double green line is the start of our offset tiled section. So when you mattress stitch, especially with big stitches, great to just go through two. So here we've got our edge stitch. Ooh, you just have to always get your line in, actually get your eye in. There's the edge stitch. They're the first two green stitches. Now to start with, on the first side, I'm just going to go through one stitch underneath the horizontal bar. And then I'm going to come to this side. And this is what I mean about getting your eye in. That's upwards. So that's the V of the second stitch in. That's the V there of the second stitch. So we need to find the horizontal bars between that stitch and the outer stitch. And there you can see the first two horizontal bars. 1 and 2. So I'm going to come through there, keeping the work loose to start with, and the only thing you can do wrong when you're doing this is catch that stitch in. So you just need to avoid the stitch that you've just made. 1 and 2. There you go. And coming in, find the line, 1, find the line again. Again, as I say, sometimes it can be and 2. Just find those missing bars, 1, 2. I'm going to do 10, about 10, and then I'm going to draw it in to hopefully show you the magic that is mattress stitching, and is the reason that I now no longer dread seaming, because I love drawing it in and seeing the magic that is worked. Now we just are we're coming off the V-shaped stitches, not on this side, but on the basket weave side. We've now got a V-stitch, a knit stitch, a V-stitch on the side, but we're into the purl side here. So literally, again, you've still got a horizontal bar between them. It's almost easier to see, and you're just going to put your work through there, put your needle through there, continue up, 1, 2, on the other side. 1, 2, and let's just do one more because we're into the green side. 1, 2. Okay, so lovely bright pink acrylic yarn. Oh my goodness, how do I even have this in my cupboard? I call it waste yarn actually. And look how that is disappearing. You should, apart from where I've done the join at the bottom, you are not going to be able to see the pink. It's completely disappeared, and that is the joy of mattress stitching. Great, well, enjoy. Thank you. Bye now.